The reasons why people kill other people are often because they hold a grudge against the victim or for purposes such as robbery or violence. However, there are individuals who, on occasion, act with inexplicable motives and harm others. This time, we will introduce a case where the perpetrator's whereabouts were unknown for many years and no traces were found, but made significant progress due to a single letter. The perpetrator's motive and thought process were beyond imagination. The Kawasaki tunnel female murder case occurred on September 23, 2006 around midnight in a tunnel located in Miyamai Ward, Kawasaki City, while she was on her way home from her part-time job. Miss Kuroyuri. At the time, the 27-year-old was found collapsed, having been stabbed in the right chest and abdomen by someone with a sharp object. She was taken to the hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Police are investigating it as a random crime and have interviewed over 20,000 individuals. Investigation officers have been deployed and are conducting investigations. Daily inquiries are being conducted in the surrounding area. Flyers with her clothing at the time and a map of the surrounding area have been distributed, and inquiries are being conducted. The number of people has actually exceeded 230,000, and it has even exceeded 15,000 per world, but that's all. Despite conducting a large-scale investigation, the case is difficult to navigate. The crime is cited as the reason. Late at night, few people passed by the location. Because there was very little information about the tunnel sighting, even the smallest details are good. Despite the call for information, the information received has been decreasing as the years go by, with no progress being made even after a decade. Especially, this case has been talked about as one of the worst unsolved cases for a long time. Surprisingly, in January 2016, the stuck needle started moving. Despite the risk, it was discussed. It was reported to the Kanda Prefectural Police. A single phone call was the starting point. This phone call was sent. Ryuichi Suzuki was 36 years old at the time in question. It was written there that he wanted to talk about the case, and there was a passage implying that he admitted to killing her. An immediate voluntary hearing was conducted. His testimony was almost consistent with the results of the investigation so far, and the whole picture of the hitherto opaque case became clear. The police are convinced of his guilt, and from his mouth came the shocking motive for his crime. The reason he killed the woman was because he was obsessed with the Kirisaki Jack case. It's enough to say that this alone is abnormal, but he had another motive. He had an experience of being abused by a woman, and he wanted to see the type of woman he liked suffer as she died. In the subsequent investigation, it was revealed that woman A's DNA was found on his car and clothes. On October 10th, 2017, about 11 years later, he was finally arrested. This case remained unsolved for many years and was only resolved when the criminal confessed to his crime. But why did he confess? He confessed that he was the criminal. Why did he confess? The background to this is that he was arrested for a similar incident separate from this case, which may have influenced his confession. This incident occurred several months later, on April 5, 2007, about 0.93 miles from the murder scene. He was on his way home on a street in Miyamai Ward, Kawasaki City. He attacked a 40-year-old woman from behind, causing serious injuries, and immediately committed the crime. About an hour later, he saw a man with a knife on his way to return a rental car after visiting the prison. The man attacked the woman who was in front of him, and he tried to stop him but was cut on his left hand without looking back. Despite witnessing the incident from the start, the police did not get involved and the man seemed to be in a hurry. He didn't report it immediately, and he thought it was strange that a certain amount of time had passed. The next day, when they visited his home and searched thoroughly, they found clothes stained with blood in his room, which were taken into custody. Furthermore, when they showed his face to the victim, she stated that he looked like the perpetrator. The police immediately arrested him. In fact, by this time, his name had come up as a suspect in the case of feeding Mr. Kuro in the tunnel. The reason for this was Mr. Kuro's case. This was determined because the cigarette butts found near the entrance of the tunnel and the brand of cigarettes he loved were the same. He is 40 years old. After being arrested for raising a woman, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison by the Yokohama District Court, but he denied the charges in the indictment without confessing at all during the investigation or trial and could not answer. He, who had never confessed in other cases, confessed to this case himself. Did he think he would be caught because of the cigarette butts? Or was it to lighten his crime? Or while spending time in prison thinking of the victims and their families, did he feel remorse for his actions? Unfortunately, his true intentions were not there. He read in prison. He was moved by the book he read in prison, and he imagined the pain she felt when she was stabbed and the pain he was suffering from his illness. He said that he'd taken her life and only I had been saved, and he felt that God needed me. And after settling all his sins, he wanted to be of service to God, and he had no feelings for the victims or their families in his mind. This understanding is painful. It is thought that his thinking was related to the disability he had. He had a personality disorder. A personality disorder is a condition where one has a significantly different value system from those around them, and due to this discrepancy, they cannot fit into society and may suffer various hardships. However, it is not to say that all people with this disorder have the same way of thinking, and it is not necessarily the case. Finally, on November 19th, 2009, the first trial of this case was held at the Yokohama District Court. He stabbed her in the chest with intent to kill when she resisted him. The prosecution, acknowledging the main points of the indictment, demands life imprisonment. On the other hand, the defense argues that the crime was premeditated. It was not premeditated. They argue that he only wanted to see her suffer when he first stabbed her in the abdomen, and there was no intent to kill. His disability influenced his actions. We should also consider that his disability may have influenced his actions. He further degraded himself by confessing to the police. About a month later, on December 13th, the verdict was handed down. The judge himself pointed out the woman and was outraged that she had been resisted while she was being favored and that she had suffered fatal injuries. He criticized it as a result of his arrogant personality. He stated that it was a crime that did not consider people as people and that the attitude of disregarding human life was prominent. On the other hand, he stated that he has begun to take the first step towards the future by deepening his reflection. After he was sentenced to 28 years, his defense strongly asserted that he had acted on his own and appealed to lighten his sentence. On October 16, 2022, the Tokyo High Court upheld the first trial's decision and dismissed the defense's appeal. His sentence is confirmed and remains unresolved for a long time. The case, which had been unresolved for a long time, has finally closed. This case involves an abnormal individual, but aside from that, it reminds us again that criminals could be close to us or not. Why is that? Because they get caught. Until recently, he was living a normal life, even got married. According to the local residents, he was a person who always had a smile on his face when talking, often seen out with his family on weekends, greeting you if he saw you. He left an impression of being a very ordinary person, just like that. His high school classmates say he was a bit odd, but more of a type to be bullied than to resort to violence. They can't believe he committed a murder. If he did, it makes us wonder if there are people like him around us, which is a scary thought. It was committed by someone with abnormal sexual tendencies. He targeted an unknown woman solely for his own desires, and when she resisted, he went as far as to kill her. He will return to our world not by birth, but by construction as we wish, even after 28 long years. That's all for this time. Thank you for watching.